And just like that, back again. Another episode of the podcast. This is episode, I want to say episode 10 so bad, but I think it's episode 10. It's either 9, 10, or 11, one of those three. I obviously don't keep up with the episodes like that, but y'all know this podcast is all over the place. It doesn't have any certain day where we record it, but y'all know how it goes, man. That's just that's how it is. But I love it. Anyway, just a quick weekend. Well, before we get started, make sure you tell somebody you love them. Seriously, make sure you tell somebody you love them. Make sure you tell somebody that you appreciate them, that you're just thinking about them. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't got to be anything long, but just to let people know that you care about them, because that's important, man. It's really important. We always talk about just how it's a lot of people going through a lot of different things right now, man. It's so many people going through so many different things. So people need to know that that people care about them. People need to know that other people are thinking about them. People need to know that people actually care, because a lot of people, with everything going on, a lot of people with the isolation, they can just feel down, man. And it's people already going through enough as ill. If there were people already going through enough as is before the whole pandemic thing, but after that, it certainly heightened a lot of people's emotions. And, well, heightened probably wouldn't be the best word, but it just, whatever emotional issues that they faced before, those increased because of everything going on, because they had to be in isolation, because they wouldn't be around their friends, their family and whatnot nearly as much as they used to be. So make sure you be good to people. It can be hard because not everybody is good to you. So that's a very tough challenge in life. I'm working on it myself. Because me, like, I got a slick mouth, and I know Carter sometimes when he got a slick mouth, I'll be like, boy, this boy got a slick mouth, boy. But at the same time, like, man, I definitely share a piece of where he got that from, probably the majority, but in that slick mouth, sometimes it just happens. A lot of I am very sarcastic. It gets on a lot of people's nerves. Sometimes, especially people that I'm close with, because it's crazy, because some people that I'm close with, they still, after all these years, they still don't even know whether I'm being sarcastic or not. So some of that blame I'm putting that on them. I'm like, you gotta know me by now. But anyway, I do have a slick mouth, and if somebody says something slick to me, it can be so easy to get slick back. It can be so easy. But I'm working on stuff, man. So I never want anybody to think that I'm on here telling y'all to do stuff that I'm not trying to do myself, and that I'm not working on myself, because none of us are perfect, and none of us should act like we are perfect. So anyway, the weekend review. I'm recording this on October 30th. It's 3:02 p.m. This week, this has been a pretty good week. On Tuesday, we went to the zoo. I know those of y'all that well, I can't say follow on YouTube, but yeah, those of y'all that watch, we put the stories on our YouTube stories, so that was there. We had a lot of fun at the zoo too, and the thing that I loved about it the most was that it was empty. It was like hardly anybody there, man. It was hardly anybody there, so it wasn't like, and there wasn't nobody all bunched up on top of each other and anything. It wasn't crowded. It was, I loved it. And I was telling my wife, I said, man, I love this. Coming to the zoo on a Tuesday and nobody's, man, it's the best, man. Loved it. Carter, he did pretty good in school this week. The thing with Carter is that it can be very frustrating when I'm sitting there with him when he's in school, because there'll be sometimes where he'll be in his own world. He won't be paying attention, and I'm like, man, Carter, pay attention, man. But then, like, I've been thinking about it more and more as the weeks have been going on and whatnot, and I'm like, hold up, this dude, he's 5 years old. That's one. He's 5, and he's doing online school. And that wasn't the plan, but he's doing online school due to the situation. Now, there are some kids that are at his school because they gave them the option. If they gave them the option to either go back to the school or to stay online, and like I think like five of the kids, like 5 or 6 of the kids from his class, well, obviously not them, but their parents decided, okay, well, these kids are going to stay online, or our kids are going to stay online or whatnot. So, but then the teacher, she got a boatload of kids from another class because and I think I told y'all this before, but excuse me, another teacher decided that she had a leave of absence. So we don't know why. Something may have come up with a family. We don't know though. But another teacher took a leave of absence. So Carter's teacher, she took on another set of kids online. So the teacher has to teach the kids in school and online at the same time, and it's just, it's been getting better. She's been getting more used to it. She's starting to develop a better, smoother routine, so that's helped a lot. But it's still a bit rough. But I am just grateful that I get to be there with him. And I get to see, because if he was at home and I wasn't able to like help him out and stuff like that, if my wife wasn't able to be here too, then he would just be, say for instance, me and my wife, even if we were working at home, even if we were both still working at home, and we were just crazy busy, and we just had to leave him to sit there and get the work done by himself, it would be a mess. It would be a mess because the teacher is hard, and it's not anything against the teacher, but it's hard, almost impossible for her to really give that attention to the students, even to the students that are in class. Even to the students that are in class, because remember, they got the social distancing and all that, so you can't really be by the kids and all that. You gotta keep your distance. So with you having to keep your distance and all that, it's just, it's tough. It is tough, especially for teachers, because teachers, I think we talked about this a bit in the last podcast too, but teachers, they have a very significant job, and a very important job, because you are teaching future adults. You're teaching these kids not only like stuff in school like math, reading, blah blah blah, but you're teaching them like life lessons. They getting that from you, so it's a pretty important job you got there, pretty important role that you play in these kids' lives. But anyway, Carter had a very good week of school this week. There were some tough times. He had to get some tough love. But with Carter, the thing with him is that he could be in his own world or something, and sometimes he may get bored or whatnot with what's going on, or really what's not going on in his classroom sometimes. But when he gets it, man. When he gets it, and stuff clicks, and it's just like, oh man. Sometimes I like, not in no braggy way or nothing like that, 'cause y'all know I don't be bragging or nothing, but sometimes I just like, I get amazed with him and some of the stuff that he knows, because some of the stuff that he knows, like there are times when I don't even know that he knows it, so I'm like, wow, where did this come from? How you know that? But it's just, it makes you proud, and I know we got a lot of parents that listen and watch the channel and stuff, but it just makes you proud when your kid, when they get it, especially if you've been having a rough time teaching it to them. But then whenever stuff gets really rough with Carter, and I'm like having a hard time with him, it's not that he don't know the stuff, it's just that he may just not feel like listening at the moment. He may not feel like doing it. Whenever it gets like that, I think it reminds me of my mom with me, because I know that I was definitely not no easy kid, man. Especially if I ain't feel like doing something. Oh boy, man. Because I be thinking back like, oh man, my mom had to deal with all this from me. Yikes. Big yikes. But hey, it's part of the process, man. It's part of the process. And she certainly had a lot of patience with me, as a lot of people have, because definitely was not the best kid growing up, but that's life, man. You learn and you grow. Hopefully you grow, because there's some people that don't grow, but yeah, hopefully you grow, man. Anyway, but yeah, he had a good week, so we probably gonna do something special for him, because I like. It's just nice to do. It's just nice to do nice stuff for people. I mean, especially your kid. But it's nice, man, because kids deserve, especially when they so young too. They deserve to be treated. They deserve to be treated. Like, and that's one thing about us. Like, with Carter, he gets included in pretty much everything with us, man. He gets included in everything. Like, if we going somewhere, Carter will be right there with us. If we going out to eat, Carter will be right there too. If we going to pick up some late night food or something like that, Carter gonna be right there with us picking up some late night food too. Carter's our little rider, man. And it's been that way since he was young, since he was real young. It's been that way his entire life. I remember him being a baby. Like, baby, can't walk, can't talk, just sit there, poop, eat, all that, and goo goo gaga a little bit. But when he was a baby, I remember him. We would make Popeyes runs on Fridays, and so it'd be Friday. I was working. My wife, she was at home with Carter, and on Fridays, after I got off work, came to the house, chill for a little bit. We would hit up Popeyes, man. We hit up Popeyes, and it wouldn't be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go pick up Popeyes, I'll bring them something home. Nah. And I wouldn't have minded that, but they would come through too. My wife and Carter, they would come through too. We'd ride out to Popeyes, go pick up some food, then head back to the house and just go vibe. And I know there's a lot of parents that we know that just, they don't really want to include their children in stuff, like for instance, like going out to eat, going to a restaurant, because they fear that the children will, they fear that the children will act up, or they may make too much noise or something like that. And it's like, well, yeah, they'll do that in the beginning, but if you just keep on bringing them over and over and over and over and over, they'll get used to it. They'll get used to it, because that's how it was with Carter. There were some times when, oh man, it was even a time when, after he was already used to like going out to restaurants and stuff, there was a time when we took him to a restaurant, and it was in Orlando. It was a T-Rex restaurant. It's called T-Rex Cafe, something like that, and it's in Disney Springs. Miss Orlando. But we took him there, and he was just crying, crying. I'm like, man, this dude done been to this restaurant so many times, and what's he doing all this crying for? And then I was trying to sit it out, and I was like, oh, come on, man. Nah, we're gonna get through this, man. He's just sitting there crying. And I'm like, man, maybe he's hungry. No, that wasn't it. Maybe he's I don't know. I didn't know what it was, but he just crying. So then I'm trying all this different stuff, trying to give him the phone, trying to give him something to eat, trying to give him this, trying to give him that, because I'm like, what is wrong with this dude? Because I just didn't know. And as soon as we got out the restaurant, he stopped crying. So he really didn't want to be there that night at all. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't see that coming, and it just happened. So sometimes, even if you do bring your kids in the restaurants, or a situation that you may just do with your significant other, and they may not be used to it, there may be times where they act up or whatever, but they'll eventually get used to it, because it's all about a pattern. And it's all about consistency, man. It's all about consistency. So that was that. But we are just really proud of him, man. I love that little annoying kid. He can be so annoying sometimes, man. And I know my mom, I don't know if she's gonna listen to this podcast, but she hates when I call Carter annoying. Oh, she hates it. But he is, man. He can be so annoying sometimes, man. But I love him, though. I love him. That's my baby boy. I always tell him, no matter how big you get, no matter how old you get, he always gonna be my baby boy, man. Always, no matter what. And I always tell him too, even if I gotta discipline him, I always tell him, make sure I tell him afterwards, that even though I had to discipline you, you know that I love you, right? And I think that's very important, man. because kids gotta know, man. They gotta know, especially after you discipline them too. Whether you have a stern talking to them, depending on how you discipline your children, whatever you do, they need to know that you still love them, because it may not seem that way sometimes if you discipline them. Some kids may think, oh man, since I got in trouble, if I messed up, then that means that my mom or my dad, they don't love me or something. And it does sound extreme, but at the same time, these kids, their emotion and their just their mindset is different, man. They don't think that their mind, they haven't fully developed like how they think yet. Or they don't think like adults yet. They think like children, man. So there can be some extremes in there. Like even for some adults, there can be extremes. But for children, certainly, man. But you want to make sure that they know, like, okay, you love them, and that they know that you really got their back, man. They gotta know that, man, for real. So that's extremely important. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this football talk, because we got some good things to talk about. And I am actually on a limited schedule right now, because we getting ready to go leave in about 45 minutes once my wife gets off work. So I'll catch y'all back after this commercial break, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Shout out to Ingravenvids.
Alright, so real quick, man, before we get into like the games and stuff and all that good stuff, I gotta give a shout out to just all the Ravens YouTube, man, cause it's a bunch of good guys on there, man. Shout out to my guy Raven C, super supportive of the podcast. He be doing this thing too. He also does like a lot of the breaking news with the Ravens, and gives his takes on different things that's happening with the Ravens. Shout out to Texas. But yeah, and of course we had him on. Gotta have him on this podcast too, so we can hear from him about the BR Baltimore Ravens. I did tell him I want to get him on here one time. We just gotta make it happen. That's literally been all on me for it not happening yet. But definitely want to get him on. But that's my guy, man. He got that cool accent too, that cool Texas accent. Where it's just, like I said, it's just a vibe, man. I already know, man. Once he get on here, that's all it's gonna be, man. It's just gonna be a vibe the whole time that we on here. So shout out to him. Shout out to my guy Kevin Redline. He makes the Ravens highlight videos. And he does a phenomenal job at it too, man. I tell anybody make them highlight videos, man. You guys to have a lot of patience. So he must. I know he's a good dad. Because if he got patience to make those highlight videos, because you got to find all the clips, you got to find this and that with the not me. No. I don't. Nope. But yeah, shout out to my guy, man. And like I said, I met him a couple times up there when we did the flag football events. And of course, like I told y'all before, his family, they held down that spot for me in the line at the Ravens open practice. But so shout out to him, man. And he was my tech support guy. He was my tech support guy. So shout out to him. Huddle It Up Films. Huddle It Up Films. Y'all check him out, because he breaks down Ravens film. He breaks it down with all the X's and O's, and he's really good at what he does, man. So I would actually like to have him on, whether it be a podcast, whether it be on the channel, whatever. I would like to have him on too, but he's been huge supporter, man. So shout out to him. Who else? We got, of course, Joe Nubo. Joe Nubo NF Podcast. He the one that I didn't know what Sportscaster was until Joe Nubo. Then I saw all these other people getting on Sportscaster too. So shout out to Nubo, man. Nubo actually, he on his channel back, like, it's funny because he almost called it. in a different way though, and it obviously worked out. But Joe, I remember when he was he used to do his channel with his friend Andrew, and they had me on one time for like a little like interview or whatever. And he was talking. He was like, "Man, you always doing these Ravens updates while you're at work." He was like, "Are you ever scared that one day you that you might like get in trouble or get fired or something for leaving and for leaving your job and going to do a Ravens update?" And I was like, "No, if it happens, we'll see. But no, I don't really worry about that." And then and then it ended up happening when we got laid off. So shout out to Nubo, because Joe Nubo spoke it into existence. And it worked out, man. But that's my guy, man. So shout out to him. Sonny, SZG Sports, moved overseas, but still holding it down. He's still doing his AFC North talk with Quincy, Tony, and Ace Boogie. They be doing their thing. But yeah, shout out to Sonny. Sonny is his family is great, man. Shout out to him, his wife, his kids. They are great, man. Seriously, they are really good people. Sonny is the reason why the team Keep It Clean flag football thing was held where it was, because Sonny made that happen, man. He made that happen. So shout out to him. He talked to his neighbors and stuff, his former neighbors, when he was like, "Hey, I got somebody trying to have a little flag football thing," and he told his neighbors they could come if they wanted to too. And I said, "Hey, that's fine. They more than welcome, man. Tell them come through." But yeah, Sonny and his family, they are great, man. Super nice. Met his wife, and like I said, met his kids too. Super nice. Super nice. Fred Scott from Birdland BS. Met Fred. I first met him at Ravens, not open practice, but a training camp. Met him at training camp, and I remember the day that it was when the Ravens had invited us out because it was raining. We went to go to the open training camp, but it got rained out, and long story short, the Ravens ended up giving us tickets to the training camp. So went to that training camp, and that's where I had met Fred from Birdland BS. And then that same day, when I got back to my hotel, we had did sort of an interview on his channel, and he's been on our channel a couple times too, quite a few times actually. So shout out to him, man. He has been big too with support. I know that he was always willing and able. If I got any questions, especially like on podcast stuff, on microphones, on all that stuff, even though when it comes to the mic and the setup and all that, we ain't nowhere near Birdland BS. Cause those dudes, they got the green screen, they got the special backgrounds, they got the mics, they got it all, man. So shout out to them. Shout out to Scott too, man. Scott and Fred from Birdland BS. I remember for week 1 of, 2 years ago, I had tailgated with them, and their whole crew, man, super welcoming, super friendly. They were good people, man. So shout out to them. Who else we got? What's the B word? Oh my God, man, I'm like, it's a bittersweet thing for What's the B word, man, because with him, I know like a couple months ago, he had I think he got laid off. He had lost his job, or it was more than a couple months ago now, because he's been working for a while now. But he had lost his job or whatnot, but now he got a job, but he be super busy, man. Super busy, because I be wanting him to come on with us on the when we do the group streams and stuff. I be wanting him to come on, because I'm like, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. I love hearing him talk football because he got such a deep passion behind it, man. So What's the B word 52? Y'all make sure y'all check him out. But like I said, I really want him to be able to come on the podcast with us, but just I know his schedule just be crazy, man. But one day he gonna get on, man. My guy Keeping It Real, formerly AK. I got a habit of still calling him AK, even though his YouTube name is Keeping It Real now. That's my guy. He well, he was balling at the flag football thing, man. He was balling. But he does his Ravens reactions. He does just NFL reactions, period, man. Where he talks about different things that are going on, and he has fun with it, man. And you could tell he loves to do it. He loves to do it. He has a whole lot of fun. So shout out to him. He always bringing good energy, always a good vibe. Just positive mindset. Shout out to him. He just hit 1,000 subscribers too. So shout out to my guy keeping it real, man. And y'all make sure y'all check all these guys out, man. All of them. Then we got Coach Sip to Tally. That's my guy too, Coach. Man, I was hoping that and I was really thinking about it. But then when I saw how rainy it was and how nasty it was, I wouldn't have regretted it though. Because when Coach had went out to Baltimore for he went out there, I think it was for him and his wife's anniversary, or maybe they just had some vacation time. I forgot what it was, but he went out there for the Week 17 game against the Steelers. And I know he was a little bit bummed that none of the, or most of the starters weren't playing, but he still said he ain't regretted. He had a great time, and that's what it's about, man. Even though it was rainy, that weather was nasty, you have a good time. That's what matters the most, man. That's what matters the most. And shout out to Coach. He always come through. Like even a couple weeks ago when we were doing the Ravens the group stream, Coach he was on his way to dinner with his daughter, and he still came through. He came through. He hooked his phone up to he put it on his console and was driving. It was raining. It was raining while he was driving outside. So I said, "Hold up, Coach. Be careful now. Be careful now." But he was paying attention to the road. He was listening to us, but he was paying attention to the road. So I said, "Okay, you can do two things at once. I can't even do one thing at once." So shout out to Coach, man, because he good people too, man. And just like I said, Ravens YouTube as a whole, man. Oh man, sorry, I'm over here. I've been playing Madden this whole time while I've been doing this, cause it's I be trying to do so many things at the same time, but I just gave up a touchdown that I really didn't want to give up, so that was very unfortunate. Also, lunch break hot take. They coming up, man. Lunch break hot take. They do videos on the Ravens and the Panthers and just NFL as a whole. They talk it all. They got a podcast. They got their podcast on YouTube, on Sportscaster, on Twitch, and they got it on some other platforms too. So they are out there. They out there and they moving, man. So shout out to them. My guy Alex, Simply AS10. Y'all know him. Y'all already know. My guy, he just hit 10,000 subscribers like a week ago, and then he hit 11,000 subscriibers a couple days ago, and then I just saw, I forgot what highlight he put up, but then I saw next to the subscriptions it said 11.9K. So I'm like, man, this dude is moving. He is moving, and I can see why, because he puts in work. Like, and I feel for him too, because I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. Like, the date today is October 30th. Last night was Thursday the 29th, and it was the Falcons and Panthers game. I had absolutely no interest in that game whatsoever. None. I had no interest in that game at all. But him, he's a highlights channel, so hey, you got to be on it. You got to be on it. And there were some different highlights that came up during that game, and he went and put those highlights up on his channel. So that means he must have had to watch the game. And I'm thinking, oh man, like, I couldn't do it, man. Because if it's a game that I'm not interested in, I may turn the channel there just a tiny bit just to see what's going on. But nah, nope, don't care. Really don't care. So shout out to him for doing that. Whew, that's my guy though. But he does come with some fire highlight vids, man. I was talking to him today in the Ravens live stream when they were the Ravens live stream with John Harbaugh and Ronnie Stanley, because he just got his deal today. But I was talking to my guy Simply, and I was telling him, I said, man, that's gonna be hard to come up with a highlight video of Ronnie Stanley. And then my guy Cam, I think it was Cam, he was there. Well, you could do a video of a bunch of his pancakes. I said, well, hey, I guess that's it. That's it. That's pretty much all you can do. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, man. Also, shout out to Sudden Death. Sudden Death. He doesn't do Ravens YouTube. Well, he'll come through on the live streams and stuff. But I know he got his own podcast that he does with his people. And they have a lot of fun on there. It's called Sitting on 22s. And he got his clothing line too. My guy got his clothing line. It's called Overlooked Underrated. And say OLUD. Overlooked Underrated. And I love that. It's so simple, but it's so powerful at the same time. So shout out to my guy. But I think I want to say that's about it. But I feel like I'm missing somebody, man. Oh, well, Ghetto Vegan, he don't do the videos anymore. Yeah, I guess that's about it. But just shout out to all those guys, man. And like I said, they all show just crazy love, man. And it's just, when we all get together, it's a blast, man. It's a blast, man. Straight up, we had fun on those live streams. I can't wait till the next one. I was thinking that we could do it during the bye week, but just the time, I didn't end up getting the time to. But I know Nubo did make a great suggestion where he said we should run this back every quarter, so every 4 weeks. So right now, so after, even though it's not the bye week, every 4 weeks will be week 4. We did it in week 4 and then week 8. So we right on schedule. So I'm with it. We right on schedule. So I ain't mad at that at all. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Ravens too, man. And speaking of the Ravens, they play the Steelers this week. And with them playing the Steelers this week, this game could literally go either way. It could go either way. I did pick the Ravens, not by much. I think I picked them to win by like 2, something like that. But if it's like the Ravens-Steelers games of old, it should be a close one. It should be an ugly one. It is tough, man. This is a very, very tough game. It's a very tough game. Because Steelers, they got that speed on defense, like speed on defense. You talk about a fast defense, oh yeah, you looking at one in Pittsburgh, man. With Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt gonna be chasing Lamar all game. Ronnie Stanley just got paid, so hey, we're gonna have to see that you worth all of that money that you just earned, man. All of it. Cause you know, not even just Ravens fans, but just fans, period. Fans do a lot of pocket watching. They do pocket watching because they want to see like, hey, okay, our team just paid you. Are you really worth it? Are you really worth it? Did you really earn that contract that you just got? Let's see. But anyway, I did pick, like I said, I did pick the Ravens to win. Reason I picked them to win was because of a couple of things with their bye week. They coming off of a bye week. They usually do pretty good off a bye week. So, and it's like they ain't got no excuses not to be prepared. If they come out and they don't look prepared, nope, that's going to be a big yikes. That's going to be a big yikes, and a yikes that they, nope. They ain't got no excuses, man. They have no excuses because they will have been coming off of a bye week. So, you coming off of a bye week, you have 2 weeks to prepare for your opponent because you know who your opponent is. Now, your opponent is 1 week from coming off of a crazy game with the Titans. Oh, that game was so much fun to watch. I enjoyed it a lot. Real good game. Came down to the very end. I did pick the Steelers to win. And I kind of wanted them to come into the Ravens undefeated. So they hadn't had that first taste of losing yet. And that can work in a couple different ways. Because they could be feeling like, hey, we good, man. We ain't got to worry about these dudes. We could beat anybody. And I mean, anybody can beat anybody. But still. So Ravens are getting them on their high horse, which is good. Steelers been taking care of business. I know there have been some close games, but hey, whether the game is close, whether it's a blowout, a win is a win. That's it. A win is a win. So whether you win by 20, whether you win by 2, as long as your team has more points than that other team when it comes to the end of the game, that's the only thing that matters. That's it. All that other stuff, the pretty stats and all that, ain't nobody worried about none of that. Ain't nobody worried about none of that. What's that gonna do? Oh man, your QBR was low, man. You got the win? Oh yeah, we got the win. That's all that matters. Okay, cool. Oh man, you didn't throw for 300 yards in this. You only threw for 142. What's that? That's it. That's the only amount of yards you passed for. It's so low. Did we win? Yeah. Okay, that's all that matters. Oh man, you played in a Super Bowl game and you threw 3 interceptions. Ugh, that's gross. Did my team win? Yeah, you guys won, but no, that's it. That's all that matters. That's it. So that's the only thing, man. All that pretty stuff, and it's gonna be an ugly game, man. I expect some ugliness to come on both quarterbacks' part, on Lamar's part and on Ben's part, man. On both of them, because these games, both defenses are good. Both defenses are good. Steelers, I think they got a little bit of edge over the Ravens as far as pass rush, but hopefully Ravens can close that edge starting on Sunday, because that would be phenomenal if Unique can make that big of an impact. Like I said, I picked the Ravens, but just barely. But again, this game could go either way. I would not be surprised either way it goes. I don't expect a blowout. I wouldn't mind a blowout if the Ravens just really destroy the Steelers, but I don't expect it. So as long as Ravens win, we'll all be happy. What other games are on the schedule for Sunday? Let's see. New England at Buffalo. And real quick, last week was the perfect, and I said this before, but last week was a perfect week for a bye week, because last week I'm obviously not glad about the whole pandemic situation, but I am not mad at all that the Ravens bye week got moved to last week, because last week there were not many games that I cared about at all. Like, the only game that I really wanted to see was the Titans versus Steelers, and it delivered. And then I didn't want to watch the Browns versus the Bengals, and I didn't watch it live, but I'm glad that I watched the replay of it, because I was like, oh, that was a really good one. But other than that, I didn't care about any of the other games. I didn't care one bit about any of the other games. So it was just a nice week for me to relax, take a break, take it easy, just chill. So I loved it. Anyway, yeah, this week New England and Buffalo. Don't really care about that game either. I'm picking Buffalo though. Tennessee at the Bengals. I'm gonna go Tennessee. Tennessee better not slip up though, cause they coming off of that loss against the Steelers, and that was one of them heartbreaking losses, and that's one of those losses that can take you to the next week, and you could be feeling it. You could be like, oh man, come on, man, we lost that. How did we lose that? But yeah, I'm going with Tennessee though. The Browns versus the Raiders. Ooh, this should be a good one. Not too interested in it, but we'll see. But I am going to go Browns. Next up, the Colts versus the Lions. Matt Ryan and them got that. Matt Stafford and them got that last second win against the Falcons last week with Todd Gurley. Oh, they got that last second win against them. I say they continue that. They keep that momentum and beat the Colts. Packers versus Vikings. I'm going Packers. Chiefs versus Jets. Oh boy, I would love if this ended up being a close game, because I know everybody, including myself, is thinking that Patrick Mahomes gonna throw like 7 touchdowns. He gonna light it up, be passing all over the place, be passing everywhere to everybody. But that would be crazy if this game ended up just really being close. And I wouldn't be mad at that. But I'm going Chiefs in that one, in a blowout. Ooh, the Rams versus Tua. It's Tua time. This is Tua's first game. I ain't even been hearing anything about that. But I don't really watch too much like sports on TV, anything like that. I guess I really don't. I watch it on YouTube or whatever, but I don't really watch it on TV. Anyway, this is a good one. I want to say Rams. I want to go Rams. Feel like Dolphins may get some home cooking though, since it's Tua. But I'm gonna go Rams in this one. The Broncos versus the Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Justin Herbert, man, that dude is real deal. That dude is real deal. I know Joe Burrow been pretty good too now. Justin Herbert, oh boy, man, that guy. He's been Where did they pick him at? I forgot where they picked him at, but it's been worth it and more. It has been worth it and more. I honestly feel like even if they would have picked him at 1, if the Chargers would have picked him at 1, it would have been worth it, man. Because I love this guy's game, man. He ain't scared, and he got a big arm, but that big arm is accurate too, man. Love Justin Herbert, man. Love him. Then the Saints versus the Bears. That could be a sleeper good game. I'm gonna go with the Bears in my sort of upset of the week. I'm gonna go with the Bears in that one. Cause Bears are like a quiet. They're like what, 5-2, I think. They're like a quiet 5-2, I think. Let me see what their record. Yeah, they 5-2. Super quiet 5-2. Ain't nobody talking about the Bears. Who's talking about the Bears? Nobody. Nobody's saying nothing about the Bears. Nothing. So yeah, they need to be being talked about a little bit more. Just a little bit. But yeah, shout out to the Bears. Seahawks versus the 49ers. I'm going with Seahawks. And then Sunday night game that is just, this is going to be ugly. The Cowboys versus the Eagles. I go with the Eagles in that one. Monday Night Football, the Bucks versus the Giants. This one should get ugly too. Going with the Bucks. And then the Cardinals on the bye week after beating the Seahawks. What a way to go into the bye week. You beat the Seahawks and then, okay, we get a break. All right, so hey, I'll catch y'all boys next week. All right now. That's it. That's it. And then, who else got a bye week? The Washington football team. Weren't they coming off a win? I think they beat the Cowboys in their last game. I want to say Jacksonville Jaguars and Texans. Those are the bye week teams. So yeah, that's the NFL. Games that I'm interested in this week, besides obviously the Ravens. Kind of the that's on Fox though. Okay. The Dolphins and the Rams. Interested in that one. See how Tua does. Other than that, Chiefs and Jets are just a little bit. I'm not too interested in it though. Nothing really. I'll keep tabs on Tennessee and the Bengals. See how that one goes. But other than that, no, nothing really. So we will be live streaming the Ravens game against the Steelers, so y'all come through for that. Should be fun. And yeah, that's that, man. We'll see how these picks turn out. And just ooh, that Steelers and Ravens game gonna be something, man. That is going to be something. Wow, that's gonna be a game. That's gonna be a game, boy. Sheesh. Anyway, man, y'all, again, just keep being good to people, man. Keep being good to people. Keep showing love to people. Because it goes such a long way, man. It goes such a long way. You really, really, really never know, man. You really never know how big of an impact you have on somebody. You really never know, man. And you could just tell them the simplest thing. Something so simple. But it can make such a big difference. Such a big difference. So be good to people. Show love to people. Show support, man. And just really let people know that you care about them. Let people know that you're there for them. And really let people know that you're thinking about them. Because that stuff goes a crazy long way. And it makes just a crazy big difference in people's lives. And they'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And it'll just spread so much positivity around. And y'all know we need a lot more positivity in the world these days, especially these days. Oof. Cause stuff is ugly, man. Stuff is ugly. It's not all ugly, but it's a lot of ugly out there. It's a lot of ugly out there. So anyway, team, keep it clean. I really appreciate y'all listening to the podcast. Thank you. Even if this is your first one that you listen to, whatever, man. I just appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the YouTube channel. Things have been just crazy over there. It's been crazy busy, but it's been crazy fun. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for just supporting in a million different ways, man. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Just keep, like I said, keep being good to people, keep being great to people, because they appreciate it. Anyway, team, keep it clean. I'll see y'all next time, and we out, man.
It's just what it is. Yeah, we talking sports, shout out to Ingravenvids. Yeah, this feels like a dream, and you know just what I mean. You see my boy, he like I done made it. Boy, he's a fan, and he like the Ravens. And you know just what I mean. You two team, keep it clean. You see my boy, he like I done made it. Boy, that's my homie, ain't that right, Ingraven? Shout out to Ingraven.